Hey, everybody. Okay, we should be live and I'm reading that my microphone is working. So if y'all are here, let me know that you can hear me. That would be awesome. I'm getting a little note that says internet is unstable, which is bizarre. I am literally right in front of what I need to be in front of in order for this to be good. So if there's an issue, please let me know, because on my end, it looks okay. So this is the Be Fearless with Live Video webinar. This is going to be moving pretty quick. Do a quick chat there. If you can see me in the chat, let me know. I'm not doing Q&A today. Waiting to see some folks respond. So we had a lot of people signed up for this. I was excited, but nonetheless, oh, there we go. We do have some people. All right, you're there. I can't see who all is there. It's just weird, but thank you. I do see response. Okay, I feel better now. I feel better that you guys can hear me. Good morning. Okay, so I'm going to move into this because I've only got about 30 minutes, and this is, as I said, no selling, just training. There's a lot to cover on this topic, but I'm really excited that you're here because live video, most people think of Facebook Live. But there's live video on Instagram. You can live stream on YouTube. Thank you, love to you as well. Thank you. There are so many different ways that you can use live video. In fact, what I'm doing right now, live video. So I promise you that at some point during this, you will see that it's not going to be perfect. And that's one of the things that we have to kind of deal with when we're doing live. It's also one of the things that will keep people from using live video more. And the thing about live video is it really gives you an opportunity to share who you are as if it's a one-to-one conversation. So for those of you that are in the type of sales that is not strictly online, where you are face-to-face with people or Zoom face-to-face, this is a really big thing for people to be able to really get your energy, connect with you, to build rapport, and to be able to move people into action. So action that's going to better their life, better the world around us. So in order to do that, I think that live video in all its different forms is one of the best things that you can do. So today we're going to talk about what it takes to look good, because I know that's one of the things that holds people back. And it's always been, ever since I started Charisma on Camera years ago, it has been one of the things that people really want to know. How do I hate the way I look on camera, is what I hear. So that will prevent people from getting on camera in the first place. So what I want to cover today is it is going to take to have you look good on camera. See, that's imperfection right there. You see, I stumbled, I stuttered. That's live. That's what happens. It's okay. We'll talk about that. So we're going to talk about lighting and framing tips that are going to make it much more effective for you, for people to connect with you, and it's going to make you look better. Let's just be real. You look better. You're going to feel better. You're going to do this more. Yeah. We're going to talk about what it takes, in fact, to feel good from the inside out. So there's a lot of negative self-talk that goes on with people when they get in front of a camera, particularly live. It causes a lot of stress for people. We're going to talk about how to snag your viewers' attention within a few seconds and why that is important. Tips on the length and content of your videos. This is always really confusing for people. And I've got to be honest, it changes, but I'll get to that in a second. And we're going to talk about what it takes to connect emotionally with your audience. When people are emotionally connected, that's the whole reason for using video in the first place, then they are going to be more inclined to sign up, to trust you with what you're putting forward, and to invest with you or buy your product. So that's what we're going to be covering today. I'm going to show you some of my secrets and my tips as well, because there are a lot. I asked a lot of people, I did some research on what some of the biggest issues were for people. So I am excited to move forward. So if you are there and I ask a question, please type in the chat room. So I'm going to actually do a share screen. I don't often do this, so this is an opportunity for me to possibly show you how things can go awry. But I'm going to show you a slideshow, and for a very deliberate reason. I am hoping that y'all can see my screen. I actually just managed to lose. Oh no, there we go. Okay. I believe I can get back to the chat room. So if anything goes wrong, I should be able to see. I'm just checking up on the screen. Again, this is live. This is what happens. So I just want to make sure that if something happens that I may even click off the slides and go back to the other view for me and take you off my share, so I can make sure if there's any questions, you guys, or any problems, you have it. So here's what we're going to be covering. I've already talked about that. We can move to the next slide, which is understanding that you have to embrace a few of the things I'm already talking about. Okay, which is you have to embrace imperfection. It is not going to be perfect. It's live. And when I tell people to look at even live television, they realize that people do stumble over their words. It's not perfect. That's just part of it. And that's the part of it that makes it really attractive to people and makes you more approachable, is that it isn't perfect. So don't freak out if things mess up, if you mess up, if things go awry. It's totally fine. That is actually an opportunity to be much more real and transparent. Don't take yourself too seriously. These are the things that you have to do in order to make this work. Be okay with, God forbid, looking foolish. I know that is hard for a lot of people, but things are going to happen. So the first thing about looking good, I want to talk to you about lighting. We're going to move fast here. You may want to take notes. So looking good on camera, lighting and framing tips that you must know. Lighting, number one, you notice that I chose one of the shots from Days of Our Lives when I was on TV. And I did that because with my background in television, I spent a lot of time with people that were lighting sets. And especially in daytime, they lit so that people looked good. So I learned and not what to do and that I can go and, set up a soap opera set, but I do have an idea that no matter where you are, you should be facing the brightest source of light. The idea is you want the light solid on your face. So you don't want it overhead. You don't want it underneath. Those can look like Dracula lighting. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. You want it really flat on your face. So I am using, and I'll show you in a second what I'm using. I'm using a little tiny, really inexpensive light on my computer. This is what happens when the lighting is wrong. Now I'm using photographs instead of videos because it's just easier, but I will show you a video example in just a second. So I am standing backstage here where I was hosting kind of their live stream actually for the women's conference a couple of years ago. And this is Nathan Osman. He's a singer, so not my husband, but we were back behind the scenes and he said, hey, let's take a picture. And somebody randomly, took our picture with the camera and they didn't know anything about lighting. And so you can see that they didn't say, hey, and I had a feeling that it wasn't so good, but we just had a second. And so we had the picture and you can see that the light is above. It's that same kind of lighting that's in a conference room. It's straight over our heads and it's fluorescent. One of the worst things that you can do, look at the difference between the left side of your screen and the right side. Left side, there's hardly any shadows. We look good, right? And on the right side, I'm wearing just as much makeup. But you see how shadowed we both are. You see the shadows under our eyes. This can be very aging. It's really just not attractive. So you want to make sure you're facing the brightest source of light. This works for photos, obviously, as well. This is the little light that I'm using right now on my computer. So I'm just being totally transparent. This is not a big investment. If you can see, it is, okay, that's talking about accessories. Mine is blocked on here. I think it's under $12. You guys might be able to see it on your screens better than I can see it with me doing my share on my side. There it is, $12.99. So it's super inexpensive. I think I even bought one once for $9.99. There are 3 levels of light. You can put it on a cell phone. You can put it on your computer. And that kind of makes it really easy. I also will throw other lights that I have in the house on just to bring it up a little bit, to bring it up a notch here. But you don't necessarily have to. Sometimes this is all you need. It's not hard to light yourself well. And I got that on Amazon. Framing is the next thing I talked about. Framing. This is really important for making that connection with your audience. Now, let me just see if I'm going to do a quick stop share so I can get back. There we can see the screen and you in a thumbnail. Okay, good. Thank you. That's what I want. I just came back to check with y'all and make sure. I am having trouble seeing the chat when I have the share screen going on. So back to the share screen. Again, got to move fast, so hang in there with me. Framing. There is a rule here that we go by that you should place your eyes in the bottom of the top third of the screen that people are viewing. So that's going to be the same. Whether it's a 3/4 shot, like here, we say 3/4 where it's cut off down below our waist or near our waist on both of these pictures. Or if you're going to be where I'm framed right now, which you can see in the thumbnail, I'm just like basically from boobs up, okay? But I still have the same thing going on, that I want my eyes at the bottom of the top third of the frame. The reason for this is kind of based in science and some studies that they've shown that when people walk up to a frame, usually they started by doing this with art, finding out where people's eyes first hit on a square piece of art hanging on the wall. And they went to the bottom of the top third of that piece of art. It's the same thing when you're looking at a screen. So don't make it difficult for us. Don't make us work any harder than we have to. You notice the picture on the right where there's all this real estate, this prime real estate above our heads. That is wasted space, and it makes it difficult to connect with us. So that, combined with the fact that our eyes aren't lit, because we just talked about the lighting, you don't feel nearly as connected if this was a live video as you would in the picture. I mean, you even feel more connected, I'm sure, in the picture on the left than you do with the one on the right. So that's really important. Make sure that your eyes are in that. If that means, like right now, you guys look at me. If it means that the top of my head is slightly cut off, that's fine. The top of your head has no emotional value in a conversation. We connect with humans, connect humans, humans connect with other humans right here in our eyes. So this is what we're looking at. We want this part of the real estate to be what is really easy to connect with, okay? So moving on, I'm telling you, we're going to move fast here. Let me get back to play. Okay. Sorry, I realized that that frame was not in the play mode, but you guys saw the picture nonetheless, I'm sure. So let's talk a little bit about background. This is important. And this wasn't in the list of things I was going to teach, but I'm throwing it in really quick because what is behind you is very important. You might have heard when I turned the sound on before we logged on here that there was some rustling going on. And I left it open because I had some music playing. So you could probably hear me moving things around. And I did that because I literally checked what was behind me in the giant piece of furniture behind me in these shelves and what was lit, and made sure that they were neat and that the scripts were not like all messy and everything, because that can be distracting. A mess behind you can be distracting. What you see in this photo where we're actually recording this woman for her business, this was a behind the scenes interview. And we were talking about her doing, being where she was and shooting videos. So it was literally behind the scenes. We could have chosen to do this in 1,000 different places. We could have done it in a green room. But here, because it's behind the scenes, we wanted to really show what we were doing. That background is very deliberate. It's very deliberate. So I think that your background should be deliberate. Be aware of what can be distracting. Plain is better than distracting. Being outside with, like, say you're out on the street, unless there is a reason for you to be there, you will have what we call in the business bogeys. And bogeys are people, animals, trucks, fire engines. They're things, usually it refers to people, but walking through or going through your shot behind you. And what happens when there's movement behind you? You've all seen it happen with anchors that are out, television news reporters, where somebody walks behind them. You completely lose connection with the person speaking and you're watching the person behind them. So it happens in the Today Show every morning, right? But that's part of their shtick. It's not part of your shtick. So you don't want to have any distractions behind you. Preferably no movement, no uncontrollable elements behind you. Now, if you have an animal and they pop in, you can just work with it. And sometimes people love that. I'm going to pause this for a second. Hold on. I'm going to go back. I'm getting ahead now. I am going to go back one more, and I'm going to play you guys just a few seconds of 2 videos. Now, I have permission to do this. This is a former client of mine, and it's just the best example. If you've seen me speak, you might have seen these videos before. I'm just going to play a few seconds of each so I can point out to you. Hopefully, you can hear me if you can hear the audio, you will hear me over it. I'll point out to you some of the things that I just mentioned to you in the first video. Now, these are not live videos, but it's video, and I want you to just look at a video instead of stills. I want you to look at the things that we just mentioned, and we'll see. There we go. This is the before. Now, she's actually a brilliant person, but you'll notice, number one, it's not that easy to hear her. The sound is kind of an issue, which we haven't covered. Sound is important. If you control your environment, you can control the sound. The background, people find very distracting. The colors that she's wearing are a little down. That's part of the whole image. So wear something that is going to kind of elicit your energy, really echo who you are. You can even hear a fire engine in the background. All of this is distracting. Okay? I'm really not paying a lot of attention. When I play this, people don't even understand what she's talking about, but she's actually talking about something of value. They're focused on the little bowl behind her. This is the new video that we shot with her.
Hi, I'm Sue Koch of Soaring Solutions, and I've been working on this amazing project, and I'm so excited.
So you will notice, I'm going to pause that. So you will notice that she is now well lit, right? We talked about lighting and framing. She was lit and framed incorrectly in the last one. Here she is correctly framed. Her eyes are near the bottom of the top third of the screen. She is lit. She feels more comfortable, which is why I'm talking about what it takes to feel good up next. This is important because when you feel good, you're going to have more energy. She's much more easy to connect with. People are much more focused on what she's saying. And all of these things combined really helped her to get her message across here. This was a very effective video for her. And even my editor had so much fun editing this that he asked if he could put in some extra little, pops and some fun things for her without charging her, because he just thought it was such a cool video in the end. So it's important to feel comfortable. It really is. So let's move to the next thing. This is really talking about what it takes to feel good on the inside, as well as on the outside. So let me go back up. Where's my cursor? I want to check in with y'all real quick. My cursor isn't showing up. Oh, let's try this. There we go. Okay, everybody good? We good? Nobody having any trouble? Okay. I'll go back to share for a couple more screens, and then I'm going to come back live, because one of the next topics I'm actually going to talk to you kind of face to face. So here we go. What it takes to feel good from the inside out. No more negative talk. So if you think, most people would actually be concerned about being embarrassed, feeling shame, meaning that nobody's going to show up, right? Meaning that they worry that they're going to screw up, that they're not going to be perfect, that something is going to go wrong. And like right now, I got to say, this isn't perfect. I can't see the chat. And there were a bunch of people that signed up for this. So in the back of my mind, I'll be truthful, the back of my mind, I'm thinking, did something go wrong? Did the wrong link go out, which has happened before? What is happening here? I can't think about that right now, to be honest, because I am just here to deliver the content. I have a lot, and I'm just going to move forward. And if the wrong link was sent out, you fix it in post. You fix it later. You either put out you do it again, you highlight the replay, you invite people in a Facebook group to, or on your Facebook page, to a watch party. If you're doing a Facebook Live, that means you can sit and watch it with people. That's a whole nother training right there. But there are a lot of different ways that you can save something if nobody shows up. The other thing is realizing that even people that have a lot of established followers will have a live video that people are not. And it's okay. So worrying is only rehearsing what you don't want to happen. I love that phrase, and I remind myself of that all the time when I start to get into worry mode. So the first thing you have to think about is, it's not about you. You aren't there for you. You are there to impart wisdom, advice, inspiration, motivation, to inspire people to action. You're there for someone else. If you reach one person with your video that day and it changes them for the better, it's worth it. So you want to focus not on how you feel, but on what you're delivering and how you want other people to feel. You can only think about you can only think one direction at a time. You're either focused on you, or you're focused on what you're delivering and who you're affecting. And if you've done your homework, you know exactly who that is, and you know exactly how to talk to them. And that it takes a little practice. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the more you do this, the better you're going to get. The less mistakes, or actually the easier with the mistakes you're going to roll, but it is not about you. It's about them. And that's one of the reasons that you want to hop on and do this type of work, do these kind of videos. There doesn't have to be 100 people there. As I said, there's a lot of ways that you can make up for that first lack of viewership. And it's not that you're talking to no one. This video is going to be up. More than likely, it's going to be on your YouTube channel. It's going to be on your Facebook page. And if you don't make it part of a story, it'll be there for a while. So you can invite people back to it. You can highlight it. You can even download it and put it into a blog or a vlog. So it can be on your website. So this is material. It's not going to go away. Other eyes can still hit it. So don't worry if people are not reacting instantly. Although it always feels good, right? When you see the hearts and the likes and the things go up, it doesn't always happen. So know that that's okay. And finally, relax. Trust that you know your stuff. You wouldn't be doing a video on a topic that you don't know. At least you shouldn't be. I'm not going to get up here and tell you how to change the gaskets in your motor. Are there gaskets in a motor? I don't even know. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit here and tell you what I know, what I think that I'm an expert in, but I know I'm an expert in. And then you have to just trust that if you followed the first portion of this training, that you're going to look good. So if you know your stuff and you look good, you really are there to just deliver content. And that should take some of the pressure off of you, actually. So how to snag your viewers' attention in seconds and why you want to do that, and tips on the length and content of your videos. So here I am going to hit exit, hit stop share, and I'm going to come back face to face with you. Okay, good. I'm glad the videos were playing. Thank you. Thank you for that. I just saw that now. So see, not perfect. Bra strap showing. I'm just saying, like, this stuff happens, right? You just got to roll with it. So how to snag your viewers' attention in seconds and why. This goes not just for live videos, but this goes for really all video. Our attention span is now, from a goldfish, I think it's a gnat. So it used to be that you had, oh, they used to say 5-7 seconds to grab people's attention. It's not that. Now you have like basically a second and a half to 3 seconds. And if you sit there and think, well, wait, how can I possibly say something of value in 3 seconds? Here's the deal. You can't. You can't. It is your energy. It's your passion. It's literally the way you show up that is going to engage them right off the bat. And you want to start with something out of your mouth that is what they want to hear. You know, either something that is just going to be friendly, you know, like today when we started up, I didn't see a lot of people coming on yet. So I made a few comments. Don't spend a lot of time waiting for people to come on. Because as I said, sometimes it has nothing to do with you, but it could be the middle of the week like it is now. People could be on vacation. They could sign up and think they're going to see the recording later. A lot of people, you know, that they're going to see a replay later if you made them sign up. If it's a webinar and they sign up, they may not be on live. It's okay. Do not spend a lot of time waiting for people, because then if you do have a replay, and you guys have all experienced this, you've got this long lag where they're saying, hey, you know, I'm just hanging out here waiting for people to sign on. No, the people that showed up on time want their information. They want to hang out with you. They want what you brought. So start on time. It's okay to wait maybe a minute, but don't wait too much longer than that. It's not fair to the people that did show up on time, or the people that are watching in the replay that are committing their time to you. That's an investment that they can't get back. So that's important. So give them stuff straight up front. Be excited. If it helps, I am seated right now, but I have to remind you, I would be considered a professional. I've been in front of the camera since I was 11. I can sit down and get my energy way high. Most people do not. They just don't. It's natural for them to sit down and relax, right? When you want to relax, what do? You sit down. And what happens when you sit down? You kind of collapse your lungs and your whole inner body, and you sort of relax back into a chair, and automatically you lose some of the air that's going to give you energy. So it becomes a different deal. Sometimes I would recommend people do your video standing. I don't have a standing desk, but when I do a video standing, you should see what I do. There's stuff behind the scenes that you have no idea, right? Of what we do to make things look a certain way. I would stack boxes up and put my computer on top of it so that I could stand, because I felt like I needed more energy that day. Maybe I was tired. And so I'll do that. Standing is always better. Start with really high energy, and you'll engage people right off the bat. If you don't engage people right off the bat, they're going to disengage mentally first, and then they're going to disengage by clicking off, or partially listening and multitasking, which means they're really not listening. As we all know about multitasking, right? It doesn't actually exist. So tips on the length and content of your video. I don't have a slide on this for one reason. You're going to hear 1,000 different things. So if you talk to somebody, I have a social media coach, she's in the know, and I will hear from people that pay to be in the inner circle of Google and Facebook and Instagram that this is what the algorithm's doing now. They like long videos. It used to be short videos. Then it was really long. Then it was really short. Now it's long again. And I don't even know that that is true. What I suggest is, because it is constantly changing, do a length that you are comfortable with. Do a length that's, first of all, that is the first thing. If you're not comfortable doing long videos, then don't. Make them short. They can be short. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, short videos get shared more, which is important. That is really important. However, if you have content that you want to deliver, then I would suggest go ahead and make something longer. Make sure, though, that you are building a relationship with your people. So if you haven't done video before, start short. Or if you're doing video on a page that you've never done video and they don't know you, perhaps it's a new business page, start short. If it's an Instagram, it has to be kind of short. As they get to know you, if you have a Facebook group and you want to do a Facebook Live, these people are invested in you. They have signed up for your group. They probably know who you are. They know what to expect, and they're there for content. So you've gone from running into somebody at a networking meeting or at a party to now maybe feel like you've had coffee with them and you're kind of familiar with them and you want to know them more. That's the relationship that you'd be in if you're in a Facebook group with somebody. If it's a private Facebook group, so let's just say you're in a coaching or a mastermind and they have a private Facebook group, there's no limit, because now you're on a really personal relationship and you can take that as long as you need to. And chances are, if it's a private group like that, they aren't videos you're going to want shared, because you want the content within the group. So basically keep yourself comfortable. Remember, you're building a relationship. And then finally, what it takes to connect emotionally with your audience. Thanks for the comments, you guys. I'm glad that I can see that y'all are still seeing what I need to, what you need to see. I'm going to click back to the slides really fast because we're coming down, believe it or not, to the end of this training already. So hopefully you can, I know you can see my screen at this point. Let's take a little longer. What it takes to emotionally connect with your audience. And you want to emotionally connect because that's what's going to encourage them to move to action. They're going to feel comfortable with you. You want them excited and jumping to your offer. Of course, you know how I am with animals. So I had to find something with animals, and I found these cute little lambs that were jumping with excitement. That's what you want. So how do you do that? You have to know, and this is important. I have talked to people that have been in business for a long time. And to be honest, I had a mentor do this to me, and I'd been teaching people for a long time, and I couldn't answer this question. What is the answer to this question for you? What problem do you solve? Do you know? Because that is the basis of everything that you're going to put in your videos. That will give you the content. If you know what problem you solve, then you look back at the symptoms. And I did a blog on this actually, and it's in my Elevate Facebook group. I have a Facebook group called Elevate. You guys are welcome to find it and join. Sandra D. Robinson Elevate group, or just look up Elevate and find my name attached to it, and that's the one. So ask to join, and I do micro trainings on there every week. So I think this is one of my micro trainings. But you want to find the problem and get really clear on the problem you solve. Look at the symptoms of that problem in your ideal client or customer's life. What are the symptoms? What shows up that's a problem for them because of that problem? In other words, if they are overweight, would a symptom be that they can't go play ball with their grandchildren, or they don't feel good when everybody's getting into a bathing suit and going out, so they sit wrapped up in a blanket or something? Like what are the symptoms? Speak to those symptoms in your videos and give them tips on that, and you have tons of content. So that solves the content problem, right? If you don't know what to say. Use the power of stories. Be vulnerable and available. This takes a little courage, and it usually takes people a little time or a little coaching to be able to own this, but you do have to show what is different about you, and what's different about you is your experience. So you want to share your stories. If it's cool with if you're a coach and it's cool with your clients to share their story, you can do that. But make sure it's cool with them. And if it's not, if they haven't said, well, I'm a little, you can modify the story by changing their name, the circumstances, even changing their gender, so that people really wouldn't be able to draw that conclusion as to who they are. And if you feel safe doing that, then tell that. Anecdotes are a great way to engage people. And you tell the story, even if it's a story from your past, tell it in the present tense so that people can actually go there with you. It's an amazing thing to do. And it's one of the biggest tools ever. If you haven't used stories or you're not comfortable with it, that's where a coach really comes in handy, because if I'm your coach, I will work through what's going to work, what's going to really connect with the people that you want to connect with, and making it really concise and engaging. And then once you have that down, it's a great tool for your toolbox. You can use it speaking, you can use it in videos, you can use it in a book. So finally, the action steps that you ask them to do, make it easy. Don't make it complicated. Make it really easy, and make sure you ask them to do something. Because if you don't ask them to do something, then you just kind of sat there and made them feel good. They have to have a next step. And even though I said today is not a selling opportunity, I'm not taking this to sell. I'm just teaching you guys how you can teach people to sell, how you can get people to buy stuff from you. I'm really just giving content today, but I would be amiss if I didn't tell you a way that you can reach me, or like I already gave you, join the Elevate group on Facebook. You'll get more training and it's free. If you want to take it a step further, of course, I will tell you what you can do. I'm just checking where I am, very conscious of time because we're going to be moving pretty quickly. And finally, this is what I was saying. I'll show you guys how you can get help. So what we discussed today is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many things that I would love to share with you. In fact, I just realized one of them, I'll just do a little aside, was people said, I don't know if I'll be able to remember what I'm saying. And they say, you look like you remember everything. How do you just do that? Is it because you were an actor? And yeah, I learned 35 pages of dialogue a day. I can't remember 5 bullet points. Okay. It's a different thing. It's not dialogue. It's bullet points that are important that I get over to you guys. And so I worry that I won't remember them. I teach all of my clients ways that they can cheat, and it's not really a bad thing. But I will show you. I don't know if I can actually aim this. I'm going to show you a bit of the mess. I'm sitting at my husband's desk, so the mess is mostly his. But behind here is his, you see his monitor? I have taped up my bullet points on his monitor. So yeah, I'm cheating. And that is directly behind my screen. So I can glance over and see what I need to talk about next and then come back to the screen. So I'm not memorizing stuff. And please don't read as much as you can. Please don't read because we know it. You know it. You've seen people read and you're like, oh my gosh, they're reading. It's all you can do, then do that, but try to get away from it because we really like to see your eyeballs and connect with you. So when you do all these things, there's a little bit more that makes it successful when you're doing live video. And in 1 minute over, so we're gonna steal this up right now. You need to be really clear on your brand. This is the homework that you have to have done in order to be able to really feel good. Just, I mean, even with everything I just gave you about how to look good, how to feel good, how to get over the inner stuff and stop worrying and be kind to yourself, and all of that is great, but the work that you have to do in order to make this happen, and this is what I do with my clients, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a big part of it. I do what we just talked about in depth, but it takes the foundation of this stuff. You have to be clear on your brand. You have to know what you are bringing that is different, what part of your brand is like swimming upstream that makes you unique, and highlight that. What do people want from your brand? How do you want to come across? And who is your ideal client or customer? Your ideal, not who are you attracting right now that may not be paying you your worth or that is showing up and not purchasing. That's not your ideal. Figure how to really get clear on your ideal client or customer. I have plenty of ways that I do that with people. Depends on what their product or their service is, but super clear. Like you basically want to be talking to one person through that video camera, right? Get really clear on your messaging. Those first two things will help you get really clear on the messaging. So when I said stories, you get the stories really concise, and that helps so much. It makes you feel better, and it's easier for people to digest. Simple is actually easier. And I am guilty. I'll be the first one to tell you I was guilty of complicating things like crazy for the first several years that I was speaking, that I was teaching. I gave out so much information that I would overload people, and it was like a fire hose. Simple is actually better. It serves people more. Strategy. I look at the next 60 days, and I'm not going to say I'm perfect at this. I'm a creative, so I actually have to have somebody sit my butt down and do this with me. I need an accountability partner to work up 60 days at least in advance. What do you have? What are you launching? What products? What holidays? What special events are coming up that you can tie into? Do you have any affiliates that have special events? Plan your strategy of your social media marketing, which includes your live videos, around that, so that you have a topic maybe every month that leads up to a launch, right? So you want to have an idea. It doesn't have to be mapped out verbatim. It's, in fact, don't. But it is good to know, hey, I'm going to talk on this topic through half the month of July. I'm going to talk on this topic, or this is what's launching in September. So all of August, I'm going to be leading up to that, right? So strategy really helps rather than just doing the fly-by-night crazy, let's just throw this at the wall and see what works, because sometimes it will, a lot of times it won't. And the misses of those hits and misses can be painful emotionally and financially. So finally, the clear action steps. Tell people what they can do. This is where I'm going to do a stop share. This takes like 2 steps when you're doing slides. I don't usually do slides, y'all, so this has been a whole different thing. So what I want you to do, if you are interested in learning a little bit more, join the Elevate group. I'm not going to put a link. You can go to Facebook if anybody's on Facebook and you know how to use Facebook. Go in, look up Elevate, the Elevate group, Sandra D. Robinson's Elevate group. Join. I'll have training on there. If you want to talk to me personally, go to sandradrobinson.com. The D is spelled out like Sandra D from Greece. And you'll even see a pop-up on there. We're doing 50% off VIP days and half VIP days where you just work with me exclusively. You can even come here to my farm and get really, up close and personal and really in depth with what you need to accomplish. That requires a phone call, of course, to make sure that that's the right thing for you. But those are 50% off. You go to sandradrobinson.com. That's going to pop up. You have that option. You also have the option right there to schedule a call with me ASAP. And you can message me through social media. I am very available. So my next step for you is to either take what we did today, take the notes that you did, plan a strategy, and get out there and do it on your own. Or if you've tried that and you're still at the same spot and you're still feeling like you should be doing more, then reach out to me and let's see what might work for you. There's something in the budget and how I work for really just about everybody. And there are new things coming up as well. So if we get on the phone, I'll be able to let you know what might work to get you really moving forward so you can build this relationship, build your community, and share what you have to offer. So that said, I'm gonna let y'all go. And I hope it's an awesome day for you. This will be posted actually as a learning unit in the Elevate group. So if you're not part of that group, just hop in there and join. It's entrepreneurs only. Well, we try to keep it entrepreneurs, entrepreneur-minded professionals. And so if you are a solopreneur, entrepreneur-minded, if you are responsible for your income and your revenue, then that's a great place for you to be. So thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Any questions, you know how to reach me. SandraDRobinson.com. Social media, Facebook. Facebook and LinkedIn are probably the best ways to get immediate reaction from me. Insta, I gotta say, I'm hit or miss. Not on there as much. I should be, but you know, as a solopreneur, you can only do so much, right? Let's be real. Be kind to yourself. In fact, that's my note for you guys. Be kind to yourself as you're moving forward in this. It's going to be awkward at first if you haven't done it, but you do get better. You get much more comfortable with it, and you will see the results. So thank you guys. Have an awesome day.